So I'm
Hi,
going to go.
Geraldo. Hi, Brian. Hi, Paul. Year. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Hello, hello. We will wait 2 more minutes to have more people join in.
Excellent. Thanks, Mechie.
We have
Hey,
now
Jeff.
Maria from Mexico. So we have Brian from Ireland, Haroldo from Brazil, Paul Mueller, you know him. Everybody
Paul.
knows who Paul is. Mike Koblan, of course. And Gear from Germany.
Excellent. Jeff, did you make the call last night?
It was 7 a.m. this morning, but yes, I made the call this morning.
Oh, yes.
Only a couple of
7 a.m.
people
Good
on the call, but it went very well. Dave did
Excellent.
a good job.
Great.
That's great. And we will be recording these webinars. We'll put it in the internet. And then all of our GPA teams have access to this recording, so they will watch it. We do have all of the, we register all of the analytics, so I can send you all of those reports.
Great. Thanks, Mechie.
So I think we can start. Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are so excited to have you join us today for this insightful discussion regarding LEA professional solutions. My name is Meche Vasquez, and I'll be your host for today's sessions. I will let the LEA speakers introduce themselves. So I'm going to say the names in order of how I see them. So Daryl, you're the first one.
Sure. Thanks, Mechie. I'm Daryl Champagne, and I'm located in Southern California. I manage business development at LEA, and I work very closely with Mike and James and Mechie in putting our program together for GPA. So we're very excited to be on this call this morning. And I'll pass it over to Jeremy's next for an intro. We'll introduce the rest of the
Hello,
LEA
everyone.
team.
Yep. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeremy Smith. I'm the marketing manager at LEA. I'm based out of our headquarters in South Bend, Indiana. Work very closely with Daryl and the sales team on executing marketing initiatives at a global level relevant to all of our LEA programs. But I'm excited to be on the call and to kick this off today.
Up next.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nick Bourne. I am Director of Applications Engineering and Consultant Relations. I am based out of northern Minnesota here in the States.
And Jeff, I think that leaves you.
Hi, everybody. My name's Jeff Galton. I look after the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region, and looking forward to working with the GPA partners.
Awesome. Thank you, LEA team. I will now play the video interview with two incredible industry experts. So that's Mike Koblan, designer engineer at ABI Systems, and Jeroen Labot, product portfolio manager at Abex. Can you all see my screen? Yeah.
Yep.
Wherever you are from the world. We're here with Michael, And my name is Jeroen, product manager from AVEX in the Netherlands. And we're going to have a discussion with Michael about LEA. And Michael, well, you can introduce yourself.
Michael Copeland out of Texas, Dallas, Texas area. Work for AVI Systems. Been working with the same client for about 12 to 14 years.
Perfect. Well, today we're going to talk about LEA, which is a brand new, a vendor for amplifiers for me, but you've worked with them. So, can you tell us a little bit more about the experience you have with this brand of amplifiers and what initially drew you to choose this brand over the other ones in the market?
Well, during COVID, I know a lot of people dealt with the crazy times and chip shortages. And again, I have one client that I typically deal with on a day-to-day basis, and we sell a lot of audio products. And the manufacturer we were currently using could not get their product. We looked at another manufacturer's product, and nothing really fit the bill of goods that we were doing and needing for this application at the time. And we reached out and found out about this company, about LEA amplifiers that have a ton of power, and it just fit the bill of goods, and we haven't looked back since.
Oh, okay. And how would you rate like the value for money of these amplifiers compared to other brands?
I don't know that I could compare it because of the feature sets, the power output. The other manufacturer we really looked at is almost the same cost, but they only have, like 400 watts per channel output, whereas the LEA, the one I'm using, has 700 watts. So it's a superior product and for the right price.
Yeah, and you already said something about features, that they're really outstanding. So what are some of these standout features that you use the most?
Ease of deployment. It's IoT enabled. For example, last night I was actually setting one up here at my house, trying to get my home automation system working, and I logged into it and I had it up and running in about 5 minutes. It's packed full of feature sets. It's got a signal noise generator. I mean, it'll tell you the impedance, the load, how it's running. I mean, it does everything you want. And the best part of it is you don't even have to study the system, or you just log into it and you're going to figure it out.
Yeah, so easy. Everybody can do it.
Oh, anybody can do it. If you're in the audio video, if you're in the AV business, this thing, it's a no-brainer.
And in which type of markets do you see the fit for this? Is it more corporate, retail, or what kind of typical use cases?
Well, see, now for me, I only have one client. It's an American restaurant that has a restaurant bar, huge midway, and we have a lot of zones. We have anywhere from 20 to 30 zones with a lot of high output sound. So it fits the bill of goods perfect for the application that we're dealing with. I know that I've mentioned this manufacturer to a lot of our internal guys that do a lot of business and industry, a lot of classrooms and conference rooms. We're putting it into auditoriums. I mean, there's just a plethora of locations and applications that you could use it. Now, we're using the high power output one because of our application, but they do have a lower power amplifier that has all the same feature sets that I would highly recommend as well.
Yeah, so you're talking about like a large deployment. So then it's also easy to maintain that, do replacements. You don't have to go somewhere to do a reconfiguration. You can do everything remotely, or how does that work?
So again, for my client, they have 32 locations across the U.S. We have access to all of their locations. If they ever have a problem, we can log into the remote system and we can monitor it, manage it, support it, just look and see what's going on. It's like sometimes of course you don't have audio in the bar area. The speaker line is unplugged. So, go look for a loose cable or something like that. And again, we can go into the diagnostics and, remotely support it, which is phenomenal. And that's a key point or key item for us because we're supporting these and we don't want to have to roll trucks to go out and find out something's unplugged. You can log in and do 90% of your troubleshooting, then boom, that's way more cost effective and way more efficient, especially if this is like in my application. This company's running 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, and if they don't have audio in a specific area, that they're not generating as much revenue. So now they're looking at us, hey, fix this.
Yeah. Like if you have to drive a truck, you're already too late. They're losing money.
Exactly.
Yeah. And how do you see their future, or what direction do you think they're going, or which direction do you want them to go?
You know, to be honest, I just think it has to go up because again, I wasn't familiar with their product 5 years ago. I'd never even heard of them. And I'm sure if you're going to be talking more about LEA amplifiers and you're going to have their manufacturer rep on here, he'll tell you a whole lot more about their history and everything. Had I known about them years ago, I would have definitely been using it in the past. So I think more as the brand is known, their sales are just going to they're going to have to ramp up manufacturing because it's a great product. It's very reliable, and you know, the more people use it, the more people hear about it, the more people use it. Again, I was the first one in our office to use it, and now we've got, you know, 8 other engineers that are always considering this as a viable product to put into their design if they need something, and you know, that requires, you know, their specifications.
Well, thanks a lot, Michael, and yes, we're going to hear a lot more of them. So thanks a lot, and speak to you later.
All righty, cheers.
Well, thank you, Mike and Jerome, for this insightful discussion. Now I'll give the power to the LEA team.
Thanks, Metier. I'm going to screen share here. So let's see if this pops up. Everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Well, first off, I want to thank Metier. Thank you for orchestrating our webinars. And thanks, Jeroen, for conducting the interview. And a big thank you to Michael Copeland from AVI Systems for sharing his insights regarding his experience with us. So many people call us LEA, LEA, which we're totally fine with, but our company name is actually LEA, and there's a backstory behind that one, which when you meet our reps or our distributors, we'll definitely share. But we are a technology company, and we specialize in smart IoT-enabled amplifiers. We're privately held, and we're headquartered in South Bend, Indiana, and we've had explosive growth. As Mike mentioned, he got to learn about us 4 or 5 years ago. We launched in 2020, and we've shipped over 90,000 amplifiers worldwide. So we've had good growth, and we appreciate the support. We do have a legacy in building world-class amplifiers. A number of our engineers, our executive team came from Crown Audio. So Harman had sold to Samsung. Samsung over the years decided to shutter the Crown factory in Elkhart, Indiana. And that was really one of the catalysts of our founder starting LEA. We do manufacture in Costa Rica. So that's a big advantage, at least today. It is a free trade zone currently. So well, hopefully it'll stay that way. So we have a small group. I'm going to jump into a bit of a presentation here. Jeremy, Nick, Jeff, jump in as you want to add color or see fit. And everybody, please stop and ask questions if you have any questions. Are my slides changing here?
Yes.
Good. All right, so LEA, I might as well tell a story. So our founder, who you see in the middle here, Blake Osberger, was president of Harman Pro in the past. He's an avid fisherman, has a boat in South Florida, and his boat was called Loud Enough. So when he launched the company, they decided to call the company LEA, which stands for Loud Enough Audio. And thus the shark fin that you all see that's prominently displayed on our amplifier icon and many of our marketing materials. So that's where LEA came from. Now, I thought it would be great. Again, excellent interview with Michael. Really appreciate his insights. Just to summarize and speak to a few of the takeaways from his discussion with Jeroen. His experience, LEA met all the installation requirements. We have a very rich feature set. We're a great partner. We have one of the best warranties in the business. In America, we have a 3-year advanced replacement, 6-year warranty. In the international markets, we have a 5-year warranty with 90-day advanced replacement post the actual installation. And Mike and his team of colleagues would highly recommend and advocate for LEA. To quote Michael directly, we're packed full of features, and some of those features include our built-in signal generator, white noise, pink noise, sine wave. We have real-time load monitoring, so we're measuring the impedance on the output of the amplifier. We provide via our cloud two-way communications and proactive health notification. We're very easy to connect to via hardwired Cat5 or via Wi-Fi and our built-in Wi-Fi access point, and very easy to program, configure, and deploy. Mike also shared a number of verticals that they're utilizing LEA in, but we're pretty much in anywhere you find fixed installed amplifiers, LEA is in that vertical. Mike mentioned corporate education, hospitality, transportation. Our new high-powered amplifiers are finding their way into stadiums and arenas. We do about 20% of our business in the residential market. We had a dedicated cinema amp line, and we're doing a lot more activity in marine and cruise ships. We were just awarded another Royal Caribbean ship and a MSC cruise ship as well. So fixed install, we have a product that'll meet your needs. Mike also spoke to one of our benefits of our platform, which is our LEA cloud. And the LEA cloud is what allows you to essentially remote connect to any of your venues and the amplifiers. You can, of course, control, configure, and this is providing you the health status of your amplifiers in those installs. And as Mike did mention, able to remotely troubleshoot 90% of the time and not have to roll a truck. So big benefit, big advantage. We have numerous integrators that are building this into their service contracts and helping create recurring revenues from this capability. And then lastly, Mike's view of LEA and our opportunity to go forward, nothing but growth. We have scalable manufacturing. We're distributed globally, so you can have access to our product anywhere across the world. And we're across all verticals. And you'll have a sense of, once we get into our amplifier line, of where our amps might fit in your applications. So at this point, before I go forward with sharing our product and product offering, just gonna open it up. Any comments, questions before we do a dive into LEA's offering? All good? LEA team, anything else? Any other color?
All good so far on.
All right, let's get started with our product overview. So the LEA's benefit is really around the technology ecosystem that we've created, from our intelligent IT solutions, so our web UI, the cloud, our third-party API drivers, to our best-in-class 96K DSP, to smart management. So it's not only the amplifier, but again, all this technology ecosystem that we've developed that really drives our value. We have numerous amplifiers in our line. Mike spoke to high power, big hospitality clients, 20, 30 zones, but we span everything from, as you see here, our new amplifiers, the half channel product goes down to 4 channels at 30 watts, ranging up to 4 channels by 3,000 watts. And our model numbers are very easy to decode. If you take a look at this 168, the last number is the number of channels, and the first 2 numbers is the wattage per channel. So the 168 is an 8-channel amplifier at 160 watts. The 1504 is a 4-channel amplifier at 1500 watts. So again, you can see we range from a 4x30 all the way up to a new amplifier that we just launched at ISC a few weeks back, which is a 4x3000. Now, every one of those Connect Series amp, we have a Dante derivative using the Broadway card. So You switch between Dante and AES 67. And one of the great features, it's 8x8. In the small half rack, it's 4x4. And one of the great features is our ability for, we've got a built-in Dante on-ramp. So using Dante controller, you can take any of the analog inputs that you've input into our amplifier and send those across the Dante network via our Dante on-ramp. So very quick, easy to configure, and does away with that additional piece of hardware that other manufacturers might need between the analog inputs and the amplification. We've launched a number of new products in the last couple of quarters. Our new half rack is CS Touch. We have advanced DSP amplifiers and a dedicated cinema series, which do a high level view of. So our new half racks, rounding out the line, it's 4x30, 4x60, and 4x120. And we have some unique features on this amplifier. We've enhanced the amp to include unbalanced RCA inputs. The balanced ins are mic line switchable. And we also, in the box, put all the mounting hardware. So you have a rack mount mate if you're using a half rack to install it in a full width rack. We have a coupling plate if you're going to use two amplifiers and install them together. And we also have a wall mount plate. So if you want to install the amplifier behind the a TV or underneath the conference table, all the mounting hardware is packaged with the amplifier. We also have a new touch controller that you see pictured here, wall mountable, works in a single gang electrical box, either US or EU electrical box, comes in white or black, and provides you the ability to manage volume and mute from the device up to 100 single zones or groupings of zones up to 100 amp channels. So it gives you lots of flexibilities from a control standpoint and powered over a PoE. So now with those new amplifiers, new controller, we have really an LEA solution in a box, where with the mixing function, the touch controller, the mic line input, a number of small applications, medium-sized applications that you can do with an entire LEA solution. So here's just example of a installation where we're using the CS Touch. It's managing 4 unique zones, and you can control those zones independently or via group. Larger installation where we're using a single CS Touch to manage group of multiple zones of audio and multiple groups. So again, very flexible from a volume and source select control standpoint. We also added to our line advanced DSP, which is inherent in our 1500 series amplifier, or 4x1500 and our 4x3000. But we've added to the line the 350 watt amps and the 700 watt amps, and this facilitates 96K linear phase FIR filters. So if you're doing larger installations, line arrays, stadiums, arenas, large churches, we have speaker tuning files, factory tunings for EAW, DB technologies, Fulcrum acoustics, and more coming. As I mentioned, we launched a brand new amp at ISC, the 4x3000, which does have the advanced DSP and FIR filters. And we have a dedicated line of cinema amplifiers. So if you have a client that might be doing a corporate facility, they want to install a Dolby Atmos theater, we now can ingest from the Dolby CP950 AS67 directly into our amplifiers. So no third-party piece of hardware required between the processor and our amplifiers. It really helps expedite setup and configuration. We build a government series of amplifiers where, in order to meet their requirements, we actually pull out the Wi-Fi componentry, not just disable it. So this will meet high security installations like Department of Defense. I know AVI Systems has a number of clients that they're buying our G series amplifiers for. And we're very easy, all our amplifiers to connect to, either again via a hardwired Cat5 connection, or all our amps have a built-in wireless access point. So if you activate that access point, you can log into the amplifier via its IP address, and then transition over to the local area network if you want the amplifiers to reside on their Wi-Fi network, which will again enable you to utilize the cloud to remote connect to those amps in the venue. So again, very easy to connect to. The amplifier will display the IP address on the front of the amp. You type that IP address into your web browser. You can use any appliance, your phone, tablet, computer, Mac, PC, Android, and can easily connect and configure the amplifier. We have a very robust DSP built into all our amplifiers. They all have the same DSP functionality, of which I'm actually going to switch over here. We're going to talk to our DSP function and our cloud platform. And I'm just going to demonstrate live. This is the dashboard from our cloud. So connected to our LEA cloud, currently looking at my venue in my house. So my last name is Champagne. You can see your venues here located on the left. I have Champagne's house. In that house, I have two amplifiers. So I have my office amp, which you see here is a 354D. And I have a half rack that's sitting in my road case, which I just came back from a trade show. So currently not connected. And you can see that by the red indication on the left-hand side, not connected. And everything's good with the connection on my office amplifier. So you could have multiple venues here, as Mike shared with his hospitality client. I think he had 130 venues in the cloud that he had access to. And as you access that venue, you can see the amplifiers that are installed specific to that venue. So here you have the ability to access that amp and the view of the DSP and all its functionality. So I'll just take you through the DSP blocks. Starting on the far left side, you have signal input, primary, secondary, and here's where you have your selection of analog, Dante, and also the mixer, where you can route multiple inputs to multiple outputs. Sensitivity, and also the ability to have a priority override as well for that input. Moving to the next block is your channel settings. So here's where you would select whether you're going to use low Z or high Z. And each one of those is selectable by channel. So in a 4-channel amp, you could have a mix of low impedance and high impedance output. We also have a very unique feature on our amplifiers called Smart Bridge. And Smart Bridge is unique to us. We have a very high efficient power design, and we have a lot of current headroom that's built into the design. So by enabling this Smart Power Bridge, you're actually doubling the output power of that channel of amplification. So as you can see here, I have it enabled on channel 1. I have a 350 watt 4-channel amplifier. So I'll be delivering 700 watts to channel 1 and about 90 watts to the other 3 channels, or I should say 90%. So about 315 watts to the other 3 channels. So it's not your traditional power sharing where we're stealing power from one channel or the other, or actually bridging 2 channels together and losing 2 channels. It's incremental power. The next block is our tone generator, where you have access to pink noise, white noise, for tuning, toning lines, or sine wave generator. And you can see you can disable or enable by output channel. Then the next block is our crossover where we have high pass, low pass filters. And here's where you can see that we have gain control and delay up to 100 milliseconds, and where we would import speaker tunings. So we have over 30 manufacturers that we work with and over 3,000 speaker tuning files. If you downloaded those files to your computer, here's where you would import those speaker tuning files to expedite the tuning of the speakers in the system. The next block is an 8-band parametric, where you have variable frequency, Q, and gain. Then the block post that parametric EQ is an RMS limiter for longer term protection of the speaker system, and peak limiter to protect for max excursion. And then our last block is our real-time load impedance monitoring. So if you enable this is where it's measuring the impedance and can report back whether you're within the tolerances or outside of the tolerances that you've set. So for example, my speaker system in my office is a low Z 8 impedance, 8 ohms speaker system. So I've set my tolerances between 3 ohms and 10 ohms. Right now I don't have any signal running through it, so it's showing low signal. It'll show signal flow and provide you a reading on that output impedance. So again, this is just a quick high-level overview of the DSP and give you a sense of our capabilities that's inherent to any of our amplifiers. So that's also, again, a view of the cloud platform and your cloud dashboard. So you can see here I have my venues that are represented, the number of amps in those venues. The cloud will enable over-the-air firmware updates. And Nick, I know that was an enhancement that was about to be released. Have we released that as of yet?
That is not fully implemented. We're currently working on rolling that into our firmware versions. So we're hoping within the next quarter or so that will be fully in place.
Shows if you have amplifiers that are online and offline, and then default and event status. And you can see that we have an emoji here that signifies the state of the amplifier. So happy face is green light, everything's fine. If we had a fault present, or I should say we'll start with an event, it would be a frowning emoji, and then a fault would show an angry emoji. And the difference between events and faults is events are reported for anything that falls out of tolerance, but has not disrupted the signal output or signal flow. A fault would be representative of an actual disruption of audio. So if you had a short on the line and that particular amp channel went into protect mode, that would be reported back as a fault. Nick, any other color you want to add on cloud DSP at this point?
Specific to the cloud, another highly beneficial feature is notifications. So built into our cloud now is the ability to go per venue and enable notifications to specific persons. So you're not just relegated to having all notifications go to every person. You can actually refine that down per venue. So as Daryl mentioned, it's even refinable down to the point of, does this person get notified of events, or do they only get notified of faults, and so on and so forth. But our clients have seen this as highly beneficial because it allows them to be proactive in keeping systems up and running.
So as Nick mentioned, this is a view of the notifications via text or via email, again, generated from the cloud. And as Nick mentioned, firmware release coming soon, the ability for over-the-air firmware updates. So don't need to roll a truck, no service call required. We have had a significant adoption of our cloud platform with over 3,000 integrators. So a lot of growth year over year. And as Mike mentioned in his interview, we have a lot of reports coming back that integrators are able to resolve about 70 to 90% of their incoming trouble tickets just by tapping into the systems remotely via the cloud platform. So big benefit. We also play nice with a number of third-party control platforms. We have API drivers for 14 different control systems. You see the usual suspects here, Crestron, QSys. Again, we do have a great, robust residential business where we see a lot of Control 4, Extron, so on, and more coming. And we also play nice with.
I throw a little something in there on that. If there's a control platform that you prefer that we do not have a driver for, by all means, let us know. We're more than happy to look into developing additional drivers to suit that.
Thanks, Nick. And we also play nice with all our speaker manufacturers. So again, 30 speaker brands with over 3,000 tuning files available, and you can download those right from our website. We also have a offline program called Sharkware, and where our web UI is great to tune, configure 1, 2, 3 amplifiers in a venue. If you happen to have a large installation, you're doing an airport, a stadium, you have 15, 20, 30 amplifiers. Sharkware allows you to do a lot of your programming and your grouping, and also user access control offline before you get to site, and then you can synchronize once your rack is installed and the amplifiers are up and running. We do, and Nick conducts deeper dives on DSP, our Sharkware program. So for any of those of you who would like a session with perhaps your engineering team, your programmers, we'd be more than happy to conduct a session and do a deeper dive on the technology.
Be happy to do that. Another thing worth noting is that with many things LEA related, like Sharkware is free of charge. So if you just wanted to get a kind of ahead of the curve, feel free to go to the website, download Sharkware, and play around with it so you get familiarized with it even before we possibly go into a deeper dive training session.
This is a view of our web user access. So you could set up multiple users in a venue that have view only to some amount of control. So if you wanted store management to just have access to volume and source select, for example, possibly mute, this is where you would set up the user access of the system.
Another quick side note on that one, Daryl. Sorry, I don't mean to keep popping in here.
Oh, no, by all means.
The web UI access restrictions are currently only rolled into our 80, 160, 350, and 700 watt models. Again, same story as with the over-the-air firmware updates. We're rolling that into firmware, so hopefully soon, maybe in the next month or so, we should have that same web UI restrictions feature rolled into all the entire product portfolio.
Thanks, Nick. So again, GPA shareholders, that was a just high level, quick overview. Hope that was informative in regards to getting you exposed and understanding a little bit more about our offering. We have an extensive project portfolio, but just based on time, I'm going to stop sharing here for the presentation, and we'll open it up to Q&A. Any questions?
If you have any questions, you can put it in the chat, or I can enable your microphone and camera.
Daryl, could you just cover off the warranty for us, please?
Sure. I believe I mentioned that, but I'll do that again. It was US extended warranty. We have 3-year advanced replacement. You'll go through the troubleshooting process with our technical team, and once it's validated that there's indeed a problem, we'll send out a advanced replacement, and then extended warranty to 6 years. And then in the international markets, we have a 5-year warranty, and our advanced replacement is 90 days post turnkey or the completion of the install. Understanding that we have distribution partners that Jeff manages, and they have inventory that they have in their warehouse. So again, we start the clock ticking post install. Thanks, Jeff.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I can give you guys back 20 minutes of your life, and then I will just share this recording to all of the GPA teams so they can rewatch this.
Excellent. Well, thanks everybody for joining. HA, thanks again for orchestrating, and big shout out to Michael Copeland for sharing his insights with us today.
Thank you all. Have a nice
Thank you.
day.
Yeah,
Good
great
stuff,
work,
everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Yeah,
Good job.
thanks, Jerome.
Bye.